Morning, morning everybody. Happy Wednesday. Hope everybody's well. Aaron, Amira, James, Leon, Dale, Silver. Hope you guys are all well. Let me know if I'm coming through okay before I get started. Quite nice to wake up in a positive mood from trading. First time in a while, 2 TP1s hit, which is pretty lovely. But as I always say, you know, things will change if you maintain your discipline, all that kind of stuff. These times will come around. I'm not saying we're out the woods yet or I'm out the woods yet, not at all. But it's nice to feel that analysis has paid off. And you never know what can happen with these trades as they continue to run. Am I coming through okay, by the way, everybody? Oh, sorry, I'm in the wrong bit. Yeah, morning. Okay, let's get into the markets. We'll talk about the trades as well. But SPX 500. So we're in pullback mode at the moment. I do believe we get up here. I've still gone pullback in terms of my risk sentiment because technically we still are in pullback from a risk analysis point of view because of where the market is, right? We cannot go full-blown risk on in this scenario because of where we've come from, right? So I have gone, you'll notice slightly difference when I go on pullback slash risk on. I've gone risk on slash pullback because it certainly is at the moment a little bit more risk on, obviously. I still do believe that we potentially get up here. I do think there's a bit of confidence coming into. There is NFP on Friday, which will have an effect on that market. And if you do get some positivity there, you know, it could provide a little bit of impetus for this to move, continue on that upward trajectory and continue with that risk on nature. So at the moment, yeah, possibly waiting for a 20-period pullback. We're above that 200 now. It's been a good push to the upside. We cannot discount this. You know, we cannot discount the trend continuing from a daily perspective. Technically, this trend has changed from a 4-hour perspective. You know, coming out of this, it's a bad line, coming out of this structure, essentially. But I think possibly, yeah, we don't need a 20-period catch-up when it comes to index analysis. But, you know, it just looks to be pullback, waiting for a reason, again, for that pullback to be complete and stocks to continue to upside. That has to be my analysis right now. It is counter trend analysis, but with the way the momentum is, with the way the smaller time frames are looking, we can see that here. You know, just within this channel corrective, waiting to break out of this for continuation. That is my personal bias, but anything can happen. So still looking at intraday, selling the yen, selling the Swiss, selling maybe not the dollar. We'll go into that in a second. But against those risk-on currencies, it's making sense right now. And there is a little bit, I know I'm probably saying this because I've won a few trades, but there is a little bit of fluidity. And that's when, personally, you know, I make money, or I not really making money right now, but start to bring it back from being 2-point-something% down to, hopefully, a little bit of green. So SPX stocks looking good to the upside. I've not, in terms of investment, I've not put any more in just yet. You know, I did say I put in a little bit here, but I've not added any more to my positions as of yet. I'd rather wait for a little bit more of a dip, whether that happens or not, or a bit more confirmation before I add any more into that investment stance. Okay, dollar. So dollar's interesting now because we're at this stage, and maybe if we put a fib on it, is that going to hit that 50? Bang on the 50. Look at that. Dollar does like this 50. That doesn't mean it's going to push on from here at all, but we are at quite a key area, certainly for dollar pairs. Now, I would prefer to analyze this from a daily perspective in terms of where I think the dollar is going, but if we get a decent bullish push today, on a little bit of volume, again, this is why we use our volume to try and identify when possibly pullback is becoming complete and we continue within that trend direction. That would be, it would look better tomorrow if we do see some bullish pressure in this dollar. From a smaller time, 4-hour perspective, we cannot confirm, you know, I wouldn't say go and buy the dollar just yet, not until we break above that kind of 4-hour anchor. We have had a gap above. It's not really filled that gap, which sometimes provides some bullish momentum. So if you do get a push above, I would be a little bit more confident in setups buying the dollar intraday perspective. But, you know, maybe are we getting a little bit of loss of momentum to the downside? You know, if we're not breaching these highs, think about before when we had some solid movement. We're not getting that as much anymore in this period. So it could be slightly, you know, a little bit of rangy motion before we continue down. Again, similar to the SPX, that's still on the cards. But, you know, we look at the smaller time frames and it doesn't actually look too bad to the upside. So decent push in this kind of corrective phase, pushing on depending on how London opens. Get a break above these highs. Although you've not broken the 4-hour anchor, it will look good to the upside. And maybe a good position to look at buying that dollar with NFP. Remember, NFP coming up on Friday, which will provide some volatility for that dollar. So in terms of intraday bias, at the moment, I can see it pushing. 4-hour, I'd like a break above that area. Daily, I'd like some real bullish pressure, some reason to enter those dollar longs for continuation of that trend. So dollar, I kind of like to the upside. It's kind of offsetting with where the market is. You know, maybe are we getting with that SPX pullback? Are we getting that dollar strength because of that inverse relationship it's kind of been having? Let's see. You know, there's other things to consider fundamentally. That's why I don't. You know, with a bit more less hawkish tone at the Fed, etc. I don't really want to go into that massively, but let's see with the dollar. Let's wait for confirmation on a break above these highs. Intraday looks good. Break above the 4-hour looks good. A daily bullish engulfer with some volume coming in. Maybe that end of corrective is being signaled. Okay, open trades. Let's have a look at a nice one. Pound CAD. So pound CAD, as I talked about yesterday, right? The reason why, and we go through very simple price action. The reason why I liked it from 4 hours, obviously we're breaking through here. Okay, the reason why I liked it from a daily is you're getting that kind of loss of momentum from those wicks to the upside on the daily. And remember, we've seen this not work over the past 3 or 4 months. That doesn't mean it doesn't work. Again, there's nothing wrong with the strategy at all. Just sometimes in conditions, these things don't work. Now, what I will say on this is if we drop down to a weekly or drop up to a weekly, we have had a very good move to the downside. Okay, so I'm not discounting that we could possibly get a deeper corrective in the form of an ABC here. Okay, continuation. I'm not discounting that. So this is why we have to lock in profits and understand that it is a bit extended on the weekly, albeit the daily looks very good. Right, so here, but just in terms of entries, the confluence is certainly there. So using that kind of simple price action to get you into trades at the right time, you know, does work over the long run. So pound CAD, we've obviously created a new swing. Right, the new swing, remember, just a little technical note, swings are confirmed when you break above the lows. Anchors can be confirmed here. With the price action we had here, I would rather wait for the swing to be confirmed before moving my stop rather than the anchor. Not saying that's a bad thing to do, move to the anchor, but you know, for me, waiting for that drop down and giving it a little bit of room. And now we are just in the waiting game of waiting for another swing. And with the premise of my trades, obviously it doesn't happen often, but the premise being that things can move. If this decides to continue down with oil being quite strong, the CAD being strong, I don't have to be right with this weekly. You know, I don't have to be right. You know, it can continue on down from a weekly perspective, and that's what we're looking for. So, pound CAD just in, and now I'm sitting on my bum waiting for another swing. Euro yen, Euro yen is very much the same thing. You know, sometimes with these breakouts, I might remove TP1 if you get a bit of a better entry. But when we have risk rewards like this, we usually like to take TP1 here, and then again, it becomes risk-free. You can't lose any money. And we're doing the same thing as pound CAD, just from a 4-hour perspective, waiting for that swing. If the markets do decide to push on, the yen will become weaker because of that. And again, the premise is that we continue on and move to the upside. Go from a daily perspective. This is now, with yesterday, looking less of like this kind of corrective and this rising wedge we potentially thought it would be for continuing down, to more of that impulse, loss of momentum, ABC reset or ABC harder reset, possibly 1, 2, break above 1, and hopefully continue on up. So even though I've lost a few trades, this doesn't mean that I'm going to squeeze this and take this out right now, because again, the premise is if we have had this harder reset, right, then we could continue on. You know, we could have a push to the upside, certainly if indexes do. So we're looking for these big trades. Now, again, not saying that this is going to happen, but, you know, they're going to come around. Why can't it happen with Euro Yen? Why can't it happen with Pound CAD? That's the premise. It may not come off. We may get one swing out of it, but either way, we're above the moving averages. We're looking pretty good on the daily. The analysis seems to be coming off, and we just wait for that anchor. And if it comes back down, it comes back down. Anything can happen in the future. Okay, that was quite a long-winded, but hopefully you can see how my mood changes, right? when I get some TPs hit, I kind of don't shut up. Anyway, Aussie CAD to the upside. I have put this on the list. I don't really like the idea of it. We do have a decent day yesterday on the daily, but obviously we're going against the grain here. Okay, 4 hour, again, it looks okay to the upside. Technically, it does look okay to the upside in terms of buying that Aussie. The 4 hours, the hourly setup here is pretty nice. Basing structure, ABC, push on, breakout, retest, movement to the upside. Okay, that's what I'm looking for in Aussie CAD. Do I think it's the best pair to trade? Probably not, but there's no doubt the context is there, but it's whether we like the higher time frame confluence, which I don't know if I do, right? So from a daily perspective, I've got this as a breakout. What I think would be a better scenario and a better play would be looking at this. So potentially looking at an aggressive entry to short this market down here, giving us our cup with handle, basing structure, etc., to break to the downside. I think that would be a more smart play than playing Aussie strength against the grain, right? Obviously, we always want to go with trend, but I think that would probably be the better play in terms of Aussie CAD. But, you know, the pattern is there. If it breaks underneath here, it's not there. So if it breaks underneath these lows, for me, it's probably gone. But both sides we can look at. Again, we're just watching it. We don't have to take any trades. But I think I would like this. An aggressive entry short in here. Maybe a little bit more pullback coming in. You know, somewhere possibly around that 200 to go down. I think the risk reward for that is better than it moving to the upside with all the obstacles that we'll have to go through with oil strength as well. Pound CAD I've done. Oh, that shouldn't be in there. Sorry, guys. Pound CAD is not on the watch list. It's already in. Silver. So this is another one that I like. Right? So what does this remind you of? What does this chart remind you of? Tell me. What does this kind of chart remind you of? For the group. Nobody? Does it remind you of anything? Kind of similar to Pound CAD, right? Look where we are on the daily when we took the trade. Okay, kind of losing momentum. Look where we are with silver. Kind of similar, and actually might look a little bit better. So from a daily perspective, you've got that wicks to the upside, obviously your inverted hammer with a little bit of extra volume coming in there, looking for this to continue on in that trend. 4 hour perspective, kind of similar. Again, doesn't have to work this time. I'm going to stop saying that because you guys understand what I mean. But, you know, possibly losing momentum on this pullback to continue on down in this overall trend. Okay, so I like this idea, very similar to what I said with Pound CAD. I like the idea of shorting this. We've got our initial basing structure, V reversal here, cup with handle, whatever you want to look at it. We're essentially looking for this breakout, retest, continue on down. Right, I like that idea. I like where it is. You know, it makes sense to me from a trading perspective, how I see the markets. Looking to break through this corrective anchor here on the 4 hour chart, which again would signal potentially corrective over. and continuation in that trend. So silver is a nice trade that I'll be looking at. Silver shorts. Euro NZD. Euro NZD. I've put this on the watch list. I don't think we've got the confluence with it just yet. You know, weekly is okay. You know, we've kind of got our weekly confluence here with that wick to the upside from here, i.e. impulse, pullback, potential continuation. From a daily perspective, I just worry about the price action we're getting right now. Okay, I worry about this. Movement up here, continuation. Okay, so it's not quite perfect. If we do pick this apart though, so if we do zoom in, we can see the last few days, you know, here does look relatively bearish. Okay, so maybe would have expected this to move to the upside on this particular hammer, that 20 catch up, ABC continuation, which it hasn't done. So I can't remember what this was similar to. I think maybe it was similar to CAD Swiss a few weeks ago. But, you know, it looks like it's potentially here, you know, underneath this 200, underneath this 20 now. You know, are we getting out of that phase where we think this is continuation and maybe we're falling off on account of Kiwi strength on a bit more risk on nature? You know, if stocks push, the Kiwi will be a bigger beneficiary than the Euro. So we cannot take the trade right now because of that 200. We've got our initial basing structure here within this accumulation phase, secondary structure, channel corrective, back to that 20. So I can't take the breakout because of this. If it does break, I can look for the retest, which would be fine if you get it. If we do get a little bit more accumulation here, possibly another leg, and we get an aggressive up here, we can look at that as well. But I just need essentially this 200 to come, so our breakout is underneath that 200. So although there is question marks on the daily, there is an argument there, and there's certainly an argument for the weekly. It's a trade that I wouldn't mind taking if we do get some decent push in the stock market. So Euro NZD is also on that list. And I'm looking at for a breakout retest here as well. So it can look here, breakout, retest, continuation down, EN. And, that's it. Is that it? Euro NZD, Aussie CAD I've done, silver done. Yeah, that's it. So a few nice ones. I think silver would be my pick of the bunch. If we do get it, probably a trade for maybe tomorrow. Needs a little bit more pullback here in terms of our 30 to 50% rule of this initial basing structure. But certainly a trade I like the idea of. And we just let pound CAD and euro yen do exactly what it wants to do. So we might get a bit of reaction here at these lows, kind of at this support area, which we're probably expecting. If we get taken out, we get taken out. If we don't, we can just continue to ride that wave to the downside. So it's good. It's positive. It's better than it was before. Let's see how they go. And yeah, anything you guys want me to look at? Any questions before I go? Remember, on Friday is NFP day. We'll be giving away another $200 winner. In terms of the 50K, I think the 50Ks will start once we get back with simplicity. I think I might. Anyway, I think the 50Ks will start back once we get to simplicity. I'll give the 200s away. I just think for me personally, I think that's a good kind of relaunch into simplicity is to start those 50Ks away, and hopefully I get some people entering. You know, I was trying to give away 50Ks, and you know sometimes I can't even give them. But I understand that some people are not ready. So, yeah. So nothing you guys want me to look at before I head off? Euro pound 1 hour up. Euro pound 1 hour up. Euro pound. You can kind of see from, I mean, it's a little bit messy, but you are getting potentially that on the daily. So, okay, yep. Euro looks to be a bit stronger than the pound right now. Euro pound 1 hour up. Oh yeah, I can see what you're looking at. Looking here. Yeah, context is there. Yeah, I see it. Here, right? 8525. Yeah, yeah. 4 hour. Yeah, I mean it's a bit of a messy chart, but I agree with the bias long. I agree with the bias long. You're going with that trend. The context, that context is good. Context is good. Tagging this, I mean, it seems to be, if we're being pernickety, but tagging this area. Context is absolutely valid, Silver, yeah. Context is valid. You kind of want it to break over within the first hour of London, I'd say. Or certainly over the London session to kind of, obviously we don't want this to continue like this. So within this structure, you don't really want, well, maybe it would be valid if you have this, would it? Yeah, maybe. But essentially what I'm saying is you don't want this secondary, your handle, to become too large in range, right? So right now it's absolutely valid. You'd like to see this break over London, in which case breakout retest. Euro makes an ABC before the break. So you're looking, Yeah, I mean, I'd have to see what price action looks like, but yeah, I would agree with it. Yeah, I would agree with it, Silver. I like the idea of it, put it that way. For a break, I would just prefer, because this is clean. Yeah, I just prefer because this is clean right now. Breakout retest, movement up. Yeah, I agree with that. Like that bias. Higher time frames ain't great. I think you know that, but I'm just trying to make sense of this 4 hour, see if I can see anything. You know, the only thing you can probably mainly look at would be this, right? But then you worry about this. But there's going to be, you know, like with Euro Yen, with the Euro Yen trade, there was the short bias as well. So, yeah, I like it. I like the context. I like it. Euro NOK 4 hour down. Euro NOK. Yeah. I'm not massively into trend lines, to be honest with you, Silver. So the weekly, I mean, put it this way, the weekly looks. I mean, look at this actually. You could look at that on the weekly. That kind of rounding effect. Quasi rising 5 or something. You got your bullish bar here. Right, decent weekly, kind of pull back within it and now pushing back on, tag that area but coming back into it. So yeah. Yeah. Oh, you like the breakout retest on the trend line. So something like, oh, so I see what you're, okay, so are you essentially looking for this then? Are you looking for your kind of ABC? So ABC, push on, kind of breakout retest around there, kind of? Is that what you're roughly looking at it? Yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, if you've got the data, then absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, Euro NOK. I'll have to get Euro NOK up. I don't have it in my profiles actually, Dill. Euro NOK, here we go. 4 hour down. I always kind of start the weekly here. Four hour down. I mean, recent price action here is obviously bearish, right? But obviously, we're going against this. But you have had a slight pullback, push on. Okay, 4 hour down. I mean, possibly if you get So we're tagging this zone, right? We're tagging our anchor, our Dow, technically our Dow theory anchor to this uptrend on the 4 hour, right? So if you're looking at down, I would be waiting for this pullback to potentially be complete, right? So if you're looking to get it down, even though it is against the grain, against the trend, but I agree there's question marks on this daily. So I agree with that. Even though it is a counter trend idea, you know, you're looking for this to maybe continue because we have had a slight pullback here. If we didn't have that, then you know you may be looking at proper pullback continuation, which I still think in terms of Euro NOK you've got to be looking at right now. You know, the weekly does look, you know, relatively bullish, although we're coming from pretty, you know, this kind of pricing, right? So it's still not breached these highs, which still technically means it's overall downtrending. So if you're looking at it from that scenario, right, where you're looking at it from here, not breaching that, and then you're looking for it to come down and break, then obviously you've got an idea of a trade there. Absolutely, Euro knocked down. There is an argument there that this isn't as bullish as what it was because we're coming down, and this last 2 days looks a little bit like it's, you know, kind of like this, right, falling off a little bit. I think a better entry would be waiting for, you know, this potentially reactionary support to finalize, and you're looking at it again short down there. So I can see if that's what you're looking at, Dill. Is that kind of what you're looking at? But if you're looking at it down, I wouldn't be selling it right now. Let's have a look at the smaller time frames. Because you're getting some bullish, you're getting some bullish. So if you see a reason to short it, if you're looking for your reason, if you want to short this pair, you're looking for your reason to short it, you know, waiting for this to be complete. And if that's what you're looking at for the weekly, although, again, I can see the premise, I think that would be, it's certainly worth a trade. Certainly worth a trade, Dill. But not quite yet, so waiting, yeah. Okay, good. Gouda. All right, guys, anything else before I hop off? Nada. All right. Alrighty, let's hope for a good end of the week. And Scotland's playing. I don't know if Scotland's got a big game tomorrow, so that's something exciting for me towards the end of the week. Playing Ukraine, Amira, in football. Anyway, that is by the way. Right, guys, have a lovely day. Trade safe, and I'll see you all in the morning. Oh no, I won't see you in the morning. Oh yeah, I will see you in the morning. Thursday, I won't be in the morning. Cheers, guys. Peace.